So it's been over 2 months now since Apple released the iPhone 16, and this phone still isn't finished yet. There are still a lot of parts that are not done, which is weird because Apple keeps acting like it is. See, the big change this year is something called Apple Intelligence, a suite of new AI features that promise the ability to work faster and better while also being more personal than ever. And Apple has been talking about this non-stop. Hello Apple Intelligence is plastered on billboards around major cities globally. It's front and center on every Apple store, and they're running ads on top of that to promote the new offerings. In fact, I bet if there's one thing most people associate with the iPhone 16, it's something about Apple Intelligence, just because that above everything else is the core marketing message for 2024. But wait a second, what's the problem with this? Apple announces a new iPhone, they want everybody to buy it, so they advertise it everywhere. This is a strategy they've done for well over a decade at this point. Well, the problem this year is that the big new feature isn't good, and it's not done, and I don't think Apple can fix it anytime soon. Let me explain. If there's one thing that Apple is known for, it's that they really take their time when adding new features to their products. I mean, there's so many examples to this, from being late with OLED screen technology to hole punch camera cutouts or even a calculator on the iPad. See, Apple was years late to all of this stuff by a huge margin, but when these features did finally arrive on their products, arguably, they did it better. By taking their time, all the kinks and the problems with these different technologies that Apple was trying to implement got worked out along the way, and it was the best case scenario for everybody. The customer usually got the best version of a feature that had ever been done, and then Apple got to take credit for that feature. And fundamentally, this is really important, this is what Apple's brand has been built on. Basically, whenever Apple gets involved, that's when you should pay attention, because that's when that thing is ready for the mainstream, it's ready for the masses. But recently, that has really started to shift. So now we fast forward to 2024, and Apple once again finds themselves in a super familiar situation. While everybody else has been adding massive AI features to their products for years, Apple didn't have anything serious to show off until this past June when they unveiled their long-awaited take on AI. Other companies were focused on these weird AI gimmicks, but Apple saw it different. Contrary to their peers, Apple was going to make AI personal and relatable, with things feeling more in touch to bridge the gap between the technical advancements of AI and real-world useful features. That was the promise, which was easy to believe considering it was built off the back of all of the incredible advancements Apple had added to their products over the past decade or two. Of course, Apple Intelligence is going to be great. Look at everything else that they've done. So when I finally tried the first set of Apple Intelligence features on my iPhone 16, and I used it every single day, not on a beta, not in testing, but in my real life, I was shocked that they got all of it so incredibly wrong. But first, I want to show you how to fix one of the biggest flaws with one of Apple's other products, which is AirPods. When you drop them, they explode out of their case like a scene from a war movie, and they go absolutely bananas. So to fix this, I partnered up with ESR, who actually sponsored today's video. This is ESR's new Cyber Flick Lock case that combines strong magnets and an internal latch to securely close the lid. So when you drop your AirPods in this case, they just stay inside, thanks to the strong durable materials and the air guard corners. And when you do want to open your case, it's easy to do with one hand by using the slide mechanism and getting to your AirPods. On top of that, the Cyber Flick Lock case also brings back a feature that Apple removed on AirPods 4, which is MagSafe charging. This case has magnets with 260 grams of magnetic force built in, so when using the case, it ensures that you're always getting that perfectly aligned wireless charging. Or if you're looking for something a bit more sleek with still some great protection, ESR's got their Orbit Hybrid case. This also features a magnetic locking lid with powerful 1100 gram magnets to keep it securely closed, and it also brings back the same MagSafe charging. So use my link down below in the description to grab one of these cases for yourself. A huge thank you to ESR for sponsoring this one. Now let's get back to it. Rather than Apple Intelligence just working like all of Apple's other features, it frequently misses the mark, and it just isn't reliable or consistent at all. And for every one incredible experience that I have with Apple Intelligence, there's at least 20 others where it doesn't work at all or it works really bad. It just kind of puts a bad taste in your mouth for every part of the software. Like, notification summaries seem like a really good idea because they'd give you the most important part of a text message chain that you could pick up on right away. But it doesn't work consistently at all. Sometimes it's doing all my notifications to summarize, sometimes none of my notifications are getting summarized. When it does work, sometimes the summaries are spot on and other times sometimes they pick up on a joke or the complete wrong part and put it in the front because AI doesn't understand how humans talk to each other. I also thought the writing tools could be kind of cool, like, oh, you could rewrite something to be more friendly or professional, but what it does actually is just remove any semblance of human creativity and replace it with this AI corporate speak that is not how I or anyone I know actually would want to talk or read something. And wait a second, wasn't Apple's whole thing a few years ago that their tools enable creativity, that they allow you to do and create amazing things? Why are we just outsourcing creativity to an AI feature that doesn't even work that well? And then there's the new version of Siri, which you should actually zoom in for this. May I say the new version?
Running iOS version 18.1.1.
What I'm trying to say with this, and that wasn't even planned, obviously, for the video, like, you can't make up the fact that Siri is still this bad. So you find yourself frustrated engaging with Siri on your new $1,000 iPhone because it looks like it should work better. And everything about this says the new version of Siri is here until you use it and you realize it's just a red herring. It's just to distract you from the fact the more important Siri features, including the ability to operate different parts of your apps and control them with your voice, as well as understanding your personal context in a meaningful way. Those features are not available yet, and according to rumors, they're not coming until March of 2025. So 4+ months from right now at this very moment. I'm trying to illustrate how all of this is ridiculous, that Apple is now launching features closer to the iPhone 17 that were built for the iPhone 16, that they are actively using to sell the current phone, but it's not even gonna be there until their next phone is almost ready. My confidence in Apple's ability to understand and utilize AI is completely shaken. Because here's the thing, here's the kicker on top of everything else, I don't think Apple can fix any of these features that don't work great right now. At least not very soon. See, with other features that Apple has added to the iPhone, they have had complete control over every part of them. They could guarantee a consistent result with every single aspect of a new iPhone feature. But that's not how AI works. And even though Apple is making the models that the AI Apple Intelligence is operating out of, Apple cannot control with 100% certainty the way that AI is going to work with a user's data and interaction. And that is a big shift for the company. Apple famously manually programmed every Siri response by hand because they wanted Siri to appear as if it was all-knowing and never give a user a wrong answer. And then overnight, they're just letting AI take over half of our iPhone and do a bad job? Something about these two sides of the coin are not adding up, and it feels like Apple doesn't know how to control it. That's what it feels like. They don't know how to control it. They don't know what they're doing with AI. But it's not so much of an Apple thing as they just jumped on this new technology too early. I think for some reason they felt the pressure to compete and they knew that there was nothing else that this phone was going to be changing. So they needed a way to sell it, and they knew the camera control button wasn't going to be enough, because if you spend more than 5 minutes with the camera control button, you know that that is not an exciting feature. Listen, Apple could solve all this tomorrow by just being upfront and honest and telling the truth about their take on AI, which is that it is completely different than any other feature they've ever added to the iPhone, and that it's probably not going to be ready or great anytime soon. If Apple said that straight up, I would be fine with all of this. Like, I'm cool, but all this beta stuff is in super small text, and nobody that actually sees these billboards knows it's not ready. I can't believe I'm saying this. I've never said this about an iPhone before, but I do not recommend upgrading to the iPhone 16 this year. It's not done, and you're gonna be way better waiting a year from now until it is ready on the iPhone 17. Like I said, I've never done this before. It's not fun. Like, I bought this phone, you know, $1,000 like a lot of you did, and Apple just doesn't seem to care that it's not ready. That's a big change. That's a huge vibe shift, and that's why I wanted to make this video. Listen, maybe in a couple months, it's all better. I would be happy to eat my words. I would love to make a video telling you that Apple fixed everything. Like, I would love to do that, but they haven't yet. And it's just kind of a mess, and it feels cheap and weird. It's just a weird update. Okay, I've been Sam. I hope you're doing well, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye-bye.